Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God. Back with you with the next video in my series reading Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Without further ado, returning to Oliver Twist as read by Lord Naren White. The young woman, who had by this time noted her appearance, replied only by a look of virtuous disdain, and summoned a man to answer her. To him, Nancy repeated her request. "What name am I to say?" asked the waiter. "It's of no use saying any," replied Nancy. "Nor business?" said the man. "No, nor that neither," rejoined the girl. "I must see the lady." "Come," said the man, pushing her towards the door. "None of this. Take yourself off." "I shall be carried out if I go," said the girl violently. "And I can make that a job that two of you won't like to do. Isn't there anybody here," she said, looking round, "that will see a simple message carried for a poor wretch like me?" This appeal produced an effect on a good-tempered faced man, cook, who with some of the other servants was looking on, and who stepped forward to interfere. "Take it up for her, Joe, can't you?" said this person. "What's the good?" replied the man. "You don't suppose the young lady will see such as her, do you?" This allusion to Nancy's doubtful character raised a vast quantity of chaste wrath in the bosoms of four housemaids, who remarked with great fervour that the creature was a disgrace to her sex, and strongly advocated her being thrown ruthlessly into the kennel. "Do what you like with me," said the girl, turning to the men again. "But do what I ask you first, and I ask you to give this message for God's almighty sake." The soft-hearted cook added his intercession. And the result was that the man who had first appeared undertook its delivery. "What's it to be?" said the man, with one foot on the stairs. "That a young woman earnestly asks to speak to Miss Maylie alone," said Nancy, "and that if the lady will only hear the first word she has to say, she will know whether to hear her business or to have her turned out of doors as an impostor." "I say," said the man, "you're coming it strong." "You give the message," said the girl, "and let me answer." The man ran upstairs. Nancy remained pale and almost breathless, listening with quivering lip to the very audible expressions of scorn, of which the chaste housemaids were very prolific, and of which they became still more so, when the man returned, and said the young woman has to walk upstairs. "It's no good being proper in this world," said the first housemaid. "Brass can do better than gold what has stood with fire," said the second. The third contented herself with wondering. "What ladies was made of," said the fourth, and the fourth took the first in a quartet of "shameful," with which the Dianas concluded. Regardless of all this, for she had weightier matters at heart, Nancy followed the man with trembling hands to a small antechamber, lighted by a lamp from the ceiling. Here he left her and retired. Chapter 40. A strange interview, which is a sequel to the last chamber. The girl's life had been squandered in the streets, and among the most noisome of the stews and dens of London, but there was something of the woman's original nature left in her still, and when she heard a light step approaching the door opposite to that by which she had entered, and thought of the wide contrast which the small room would in another moment contain, she felt burdened with the sense of her own deep shame, and shrunk as though she could scarcely bear the presence of her with whom she had sought this interview. But struggling with these better feelings was pride, the vice of the lowest and most debased creatures no less than of the high and self-assured, the miserable companion of thieves and ruffians, the fallen outcast of low haunts, the associate of scourgings of the jails and hulks, living within the shadow of the gallows itself. Even this degraded being felt too proud to betray a feeble gleam of the womanly feeling which she thought a weakness, but which alone connected her with that humanity. of which her wasting life had obliterated so many, many traces when a very child. She raised her eyes sufficiently to observe that the figure which presented her itself was that of a slight and beautiful girl. Then, bending them on the ground, she tossed her head with affected carelessness as she said, "It's a hard matter to get to see you, lady. If I had taken offense and gone away, as many as would have done, you'd have been sorry for it one day, and not without reason either." "I'm very sorry if anyone has behaved harshly to you," replied Rose. "Do not think of that. Tell me why you wished to see me. I am the person you inquired for." The tone of this answer, the sweet voice, the gentle manner, the absence of accent of haughtiness or displeasure, took the girl completely by surprise, and she burst into tears. "Oh, lady, lady," she said, clasping her hands passionately before her face, "if there was more like you, there would be fewer like me, there would." "Sit down," said Rose earnestly. "If you are in poverty or affliction, I shall be truly glad to relieve you if I can. I shall indeed sit down." "Let me stand, lady," said the girl, still weeping, "and do not speak to me so kindly till you know me better. It is growing late. Is that door shut?" "Yes," said Rose, recoiling a few steps, as if to be nearer assistance in case she should require it. "Why?" "Because," said the girl, I am about to put my lives and the lives of others in your hands. I am the girl that dragged little Oliver back to old Fagin's on the night he went out of the house in Pentonville." "You?" said Rosie Maylie. "Aye, lady," replied replied the girl. "I am the infamous creature you have heard of, that lives among the thieves, and that never from the first moment I can recollect my eyes and senses opening on London streets have known any better life or kinder words than they have given me. So help me God. Do not mind shrinking openly from me, lady. I am younger than you would think to look at me, but I am well used to it. The poorest women fall back as I make my way along the crowded pavement." "What dreadful things are these?" said Rose, involuntarily falling from her strange companion. "Thank heaven upon your knees, dear lady," cried the girl, "that you had friends to care for and keep you in your childhood, and that you were never in the midst of cold and hunger, and riot and drunkenness, and something worse than all, as I have been from my cradle. I may use the word, for the alley and gutter were mine, as they will be my deathbed." "I pity you," said Rose in a broken voice. "It wrings my heart to hear you." "Heaven bless you for your goodness," rejoined the girl. "If you knew what I am sometimes, you would pity me, indeed. But I have stolen away from those who would surely murder me, if they knew I had been here, to tell you what I have overheard. Do you know a man named Monks?" "No," said Rose. "He knows you," replied the girl, "and knew you were here, for it was by hearing him tell the place that I found you out." "I never heard the name," said Rose. "Then he goes by some other amongst us," rejoined the girl, which I more than thought before. Some time ago, and soon after Oliver was put into your house on the night of the robbery, I, suspecting this man, listened to a conversation held between him and Fagin in the dark. I found out, from what I heard, that Monks, the man I asked you about, you know." "Yes," said Rose, "I understand. That Monks," pursued the girl, "had seen him accidentally with two of our boys on the day we first lost him, and had known him directly to be the same child that he was watching for, though I couldn't make out why. A bargain was struck with Fagin that if Oliver was got back he should have a certain sum, and he was to have more for making a thief, which this Monks wanted for some purpose of his own." "For what purpose?" asked Rose. "He caught sight of my shadow on the wall as I listened in the hope of finding out," said the girl, "and there are not many people besides me that could have got out of their way in time to escape discovery. But I did, and I saw him no more till last night." "And what occurred then?" And we'll go ahead and stop there for this week. As usual, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.